After we eliminated Cape Town City from the MTN8 quarterfinals, they went on to lose 4 games in a row. Then they drew against TS Galaxy and won their last game against the struggling Cape Town Spurs. How are they going to do against Kaizer Chiefs, and how is Kaizer Chiefs going to plan against them? Well, let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to Coast Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs.
Amakosi Football Club.
First up, I get worried when we play against ball-playing teams. Usually, our coach, being a cautious one, he says to his team, sit back guys, and then since we have very pacey wingers, we are going to just hit them on a counter. People are going to say, Panpilo, when we played against Sundowns, we're not sitting back, but we're on a front foot. Of course we had to be on a front foot. There was a cup game, and if we didn't score a goal at least, then we're automatically out of the competition. So in that game, you can say it was an exception. We've been able to play out from the back, even through the press. Number 2, I need our coach to fix the pressing. Against the Kukune, if you notice something, is that usually our team doesn't press when the team is starting the ball from the back. But we let them play, and then once they reach the midfield, that's when we press them. I don't like that. Why is that? Because looking at the very same game that I just mentioned, when we pressed them up the field, then we got the goal and then we scored. You see the contrast between the two things? When you are pressing people further up the field in their first third, like in their box or around their box, then you are likely to win the ball back and convert chances from that. Number 3 is that the coach will have a huge headache when it comes to selecting his defenders. Mapoloba played a brilliant game. However, given him Simango is still a very good defender. So what is he going to do now? Because as we have established, as fans who are happy that our team now has a very competitive squad, we have a lot of players, we have a lot of quality players in our squad. But the thing is, would Given Simango be happy sitting on the bench? But at the same time, would our coach be able to justify why he would drop a defender who played a brilliant game in the previous match? I don't think so. Number 4 is that the coach has to decide what he does in our midfield. In our back 4, I think we have established who's starting, but the problem is obviously between Given Simango and Jablong Ngobo. I will say the full starting lineup later on in the video. In our midfield, if you think about it, it's clear that Mtetwa is going to start as a number 6, as a single pivot. No one competes with him. Our 2 number 8s, that's where the stress comes back again. Once again, it's a good stress. It's not horrible stress, because on one hand, you have seen that Matlo, people have been saying a lot about him. He's been playing well, and clearly the coach has also seen himself, because he keeps on picking him and he keeps him for a long time in a game. So he clearly sees something. With Yusuf Mart, you've also seen that our coach usually keeps Mart until the last 10 minutes of the game. On the other hand, you have Edson Castillo, who has been a solid player for us. So now the question is, between those 3, one will not play. So who are you dropping? Because it certainly isn't Mteto who's going to get dropped. But in my personal opinion, this is what I would do. Since you are playing Cape Town City and you're kind of going to need your team to work really hard, I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial and that you're not going to like. I would play Mtetwa, I would play Castillo, and I would play if I was the coach, I would pick Mart. Because why am I saying that? Because he's the one who works harder than Matlo. Matlo, people will say he's been our best player in midfield. I don't think so. He's been good, okay, I guess, but not best. And given the fact that Cape Town City plays the ball in midfield, then I don't see how you don't play someone who works very hard in that midfield. And also, the reason why I'm saying I would start Mart is simple. Because the guy has not been played in his position. Since he arrived at Kaizer Chiefs, he's been played as a defensive midfielder. But it's not a defensive midfielder. It's the same thing with Siatemba's Step. He's not a defensive midfielder. He was an attacking midfielder at Amazulu. Comes to Chiefs, he's played as a defensive midfielder. So this thing of playing people out of their positions, then you end up thinking they're bad players. Number 5, which is, please do subscribe to the channel, because 70% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and like the video and share it with your friends. Do it. Yeah, I'm waiting. Do it. Thank you. Number 6. What do we do with Pule Monde? I mean, I like the player. I've been advocating for him to come to Chiefs. With Kaizer Chiefs, since our squad was not good enough last season. We signed all of these new players, and when they came in, we just threw them right into the starting 11. But what you see in these other top elite teams, not just in South Africa, you sign a player like Jack Grealish to Manchester City, but is not immediately thrown into the squad, but is eased in. Like, he plays 30 minutes here, he plays 20 minutes there, but slowly but surely gets introduced to the team. But our players like Abopule Modi, we threw him right in and said, go ahead, sink or swim. And then in some matches he did swim, but in some matches he sank. And that is why his form has been like this season. And I don't think it's because of his mom's passing, because actually after he came back from the burial of his mom, he actually performed. Yes, there might be a possibility that this thing is now hitting him now, but hopefully that's not that, and I hope that he's getting all the help that he needs, because I can't even imagine how it's like to be mourning a parent. But what I will say is that to just take off the pressure off of him, because knowing our fans, they might end up booing him as well, it might be best to just bench him. Number 7, who do you play as your number 9? And obviously once you take out Pule Modi, that means you are going to have to push Ashley Dupree to the left and pick one of Ranga or Gonzalez to help us with hold-up play up front. And also, you sign 2 strikers because you need them for your system, and then you don't play them. I don't get the logic, because what ends up happening is, since one of the strikers, either Gonzalez or Ranga, is on the bench, the other one will not even make match day squad. Why? Because you have started with a pacey winger. In my opinion, you should be starting Ranga or Gonzalez, one of them. On the left wing, you have Dupree, but you also have Pule Modi waiting to come in for him at second half. On the right, you are starting Potsane, and you know that Saile can always come in for him at second half. Also in midfield, you have obviously Ntseki, Castillo and Mart, but you know that on the bench you still have players who can come in for them. You can bring on Kevin Msimango and push Njabulo Ngobo to play as a defensive midfielder. You can always bring on Samgelo Zwane and take out Yusuf Mart. You can always bring on Tutuzi Shabalala and take off Edson Castillo. And at the back, I don't know for the life of me why Dylan Solomons does not make match day squad anymore. Let me just go through the starting 11, predicted starting 11, not my own. In goal, he will keep Peterson. Right back, Rifrosla. Left back, Edmilson Dove. Center back pairing, he will have Njabulo Ngobo and Ditlokwe. As a 6, he will play Mthethwa. And this is where it gets tricky, because I also don't know who is going to pick between Mart and Matlow. So I will say Mart and Matlow. That coach might just bench Castillo because he likes those players better than him. And then up front, he will play Dupree through the middle, Modi on the left, and then he will play Saile on the right. That's my predicted starting 11. But my best starting 11 would be the video that you have to check out up here. Go check out that video to see who my best starting 11 is.
Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember,
Ikos, Alpelo Moy.